So Theravada Buddhism that has flourished or dominant in Sri Lanka, Burma, and all this region, more influenced with this view, Vaibhashika and Sautrantika view.
Mm-hmm.
Buddhism in Japan, Korea, and China, mostly Chittamatra and Madhyamika too. Because Prajna
Mm,
Paramita, Perfection, Wisdom, Heart Sutra, all Madhyamika. Then in Buddhism, like Vajrayana Buddhism and Tibetan Buddhism, solely Madhyamika.
mm,
So you know how now, how these tenet systems, if you
mm,
associate, relate with the different traditions across the region, it's like that. Again, Madhyamika philosophy explains about emptiness.
mm-hmm.
Emptiness, doesn't exist.
Mm.
Of course, it doesn't exist. Is Chitramata, Satrantika, and Vaivashika, something exists,
Yeah,
right? They believe these three first school tennis system, they believe something exists, right?
yeah, yes.
And before that, for ordinary people, everything exists, right?
Mm,
Madhyamika,
yes,
nothing
nothing
exists.
exists. Yeah.
But when you say nothing exists, that's not enough. Again, you
Mm.
will have a belief that nothing exists, which is called emptiness, exists. You have this kind
Ale,
of,
yes, yes,
right?
yes,
Again,
yes,
there's a
yes,
danger.
yes,
This is a very dangerous again. If you think that emptiness, oh, no eyes,
yes,
no ears, no nose, that exists. Again, that's
yes.
the danger. If you have that kind of feeling here, that is also
Mm.
conceptual, intellectual. That is also
Ale.
not real view.
Mm,
So that is why here's an again now Madhyamika has Svatantrika and
mm,
Prasangika. Although both of this school, Prasangika, Madhyamika, and Svatantrika, Madhyamika, both, yes, their goal is to explain and realize the emptiness perfectly. But
ah,
Svatantrika, Madhyamika more focus, emphasize on first establishing the view of that first non-existent. Then finally come to
yes.
this Prasangika Madhyamika view of even that non-existent is non-existent. Like
Ah,
free of all the elaboration, exist, non-exist, both non, like that, free of all the contrivances, uh, like a falsification. So that is why there's a two, Sivatantrika Madhyamika school and the Prasangika Madhyamika school again. I'll talk a little briefly about all this. Who are those masters who compose
Namso.
text on philosophical text? I'll give you a brief explanation first. So Sivatantrika, Madhyamika philosophers, they mainly focus, emphasis on the first, or nothing exists, the emptiness, first stage of emptiness. Then Prasangika,
No.
Madhyamika, even that non-existence, both all free of all the elaborations. That is why now whole, whether it's the Satya school, Nyingma school, Gelug school, Kaju school, when they talk about the view, they all say, "Oh, our view is Prasangika Madhyamika." They even don't say Svatantrika Madhyamika. Because
That's
it's the
so.
pinnacle of the
The
view.
highest view.
I is a
Mm,
Prasangika. So Prasangika Madhyamika school. This is just brief explaining. If you go detail the text, each has a text and their history and how many centuries in India they were dominant like that. All
mm,
stories, but we
mm,
don't want to go that kind of study. I'm just giving a
mm.
review. Okay. So,
Okay.
understand six ornaments. Six ornaments are the six great commentators of Buddha's teachings. So Buddha gave a teachings, right?
Mm,
Buddha
mm,
realized vipassana or emptiness perfectly, and he taught it. He taught, but the people, students, disciples understood in a different level. And
I
that
see.
teachings being later on is written down, explained, commented. It was what do you call that? Commentation or commentaries written down by
Mm,
Indian school. So Indian scholars later on,
mm,
after Buddha
mm,
passed away, right? These
mm,
are
mm.
called all we have a special terms for those commentators called six ornaments. Six ornaments
Mm.
ornaments which beautifies, which makes adds up more spice on the looks, right? So like
Yes.
that, like so ornaments, if you wear the ornament, then ladies become more pretty. Like the Buddha's teaching
Yeah.
explain very well. Each subject, explained very detailed, very well by different scholars, the masters of India. So for example, first one,
Mm.
so here's the picture, the Buddha and the six ornaments, right? You see,
Ale.
first
I
one with
see.
the Naga, there's Nagarjuna. So first one is Nagarjuna.
Oh.
Nagarjuna,
Yeah, yeah.
he has a
Yeah.
snake as a umbrella or parasol. There's a story behind that, but first one. So Nagarjuna is the great commentator of Madhyamika with this
Ale.
perfect teachings of emptiness. Nagarjuna here. This
Mm.
is Nagarjuna, understand? So all this
Understand.
middle way philosophy or Madhyamika philosophy comes from, like,
Mm.
of course, comes from
Nagarjuna.
Buddha, but Nagarjuna's
Mm.
explanation or commentary. He has all this text,
Mm.
like here is the text of so many texts that Nagarjuna wrote. If you check on the internet, you'll find it.
Mm.
So Nagarjuna is the first one. That's among the six ornaments. He was the proponent or the commentator or pioneer. We call also a charioteer of Madhyamika philosophy or Madhyamika, this tenet system.
Yeah.
Now, Nagarjuna's husband is Aryadeva. Aryadeva, Nagarjuna, Aryadeva, this is Aryadeva.
Mm.
Aryadeva, Nagarjuna, both Madhyamika scholar, Madhyamika pioneer or commentator. Then Asanga, he also has done with Asanga received directly from teachings from Maitreya, and he's a brother of Vasubandhu. Vasubandhu is
Mm.
another one. Vasubandhu here. Vasubandhu and Asanga are brothers. Aryadeva Nagarjuna in South India, born anyway, different parts
Ah.
of India, because that time India was very, very large.
Ah.
Asanga also, Asanga mostly on the conduct, bodhisattva conduct, and all this, and also Chittamatra, Vasubandha, Vasubandha on the Abhidharma. Also, he's mainly like explaining about this Vaibhashika and Sautantika. And anyway, so this what do you call these six ornaments and Digna,
Mm.
Dhammakriti, these are logic, valid reasoning. So Buddha's teachings have logic and valid
Ah.
reasoning. Emphasize a different area of Buddha's teachings. They comment, they have written a commentaries, and then it was translated into Tibet, and Tibetan scholars write commentary. That's how you study the Buddhist philosophy, actually. So anyway, you don't have to know all this. These are not really important.
Mm.
I just sharing you. If you're really interested, you have a lot of time, you can just read them on the internet. Who is Nagarjuna,
Mm.
who is Aryadeva, Asanga, Vasubandha,
Mm.
Dignaga, Dhammakiti. There are also Chandrakirti, who is a Nagarjuna student in Tibet, and all these things is there on internet, but it's not really important right now
Mm.
who is who.
Mm.
But anyway, the reason why
Mm.
I'm explaining is that you have to know a little bit about these four tenet systems.
Mm.
Otherwise, like, you won't know, like, the view meditation conduct are related, associated, and you wouldn't know
Mm.
the relation between all these things, and you like discard. You don't, if you don't know the teachings, the differences, and all this thing, you don't know how to select. You think everyone,
Yeah.
the schools are same. You think, oh,
Yes. Yes.
yes, no, which is not. So now you understand.
Mm.
That is why I don't want to go to the extreme. When you say practice,
Mm.
is it an enlightenment and then just meditate? What meditate? You need to know
Mm.
to meditate. So that is
Yes.
you need to
Yes.
know the background philosophy. Otherwise, you will be
Mm.
like a blind person in the middle of the Sahara desert. You don't know where to go. Where is
Mm.
your home? You don't know the destination.
Mm.
It is so you have to have
Mm.
like a even if you don't have a perfect understanding, you should have a certain like general understanding of the philosophy or tenet system, how they are related.
That's
That's
so.
why but I don't want you caught up into too much into these terms and then
음,
technical terms and history and everything. You
음,
end up like all these Buddhist scholars in the university who do PhD. You could at least devote a couple of sessions of teachings, understanding those. So
음,
that
음,
our real goal is meditate and attain enlightenment. We need to understand a little bit of these stuffs. Otherwise,
음,
that's why it's like it says, without understanding, without having this knowledge of how Buddhism works, if you try to meditate it's like you
음,
are without arm trying to climb a rock cliff, or like a
음,
blind person in the middle of desert. It's like that. So that is why you need to understand a little bit how it is related. Now,
yeah.
that is why Buddhism has philosophy,
음,
just explaining on theory. It's very important to understand
음,
because if you don't understand the theory or philosophy, how you will practice, right? If you want to
yes.
work out a mathematical problem solution, you need to know the formula. You don't know the formula, how can
음,
all this solve the mathematical problems like that? You need to
음,
understand philosophy. You even if you don't understand very detail, you need to have a rough understanding. You have to have a gross understanding. You should have. But you don't have to, don't worry, you don't have to study philosophy like us, not needed. You get cut off with that philosophy and you get entangled by that philosophy. And again, and then it becomes obstacle. That's why I'm just these few things that I mentioned is okay, you enough. Okay. That's what we need to balance actually. Study, just receive the
음,
instruction, hear the instruction on what to
음,
meditate, and put it into
음,
practice.
음,
Don't do it like directly meditate without understanding correctly. That's called stupid meditators.
yeah.
Then
But
that's why in Tibet there is there's two one
two
who
party, okay.
directly meditates without training. They said they bad mouth each other. They say bad about each other. Where it says
음,
sophist. So the scholars who talk and study philosophy and all this and don't meditate, they go sophist. They're caught up with all this logic and reasoning and don't practice. They go sophist. It's the
yes.
intellectuals.
Yeah.
Those who are like well studied don't meditate. Mm, bad mouth about those another party which is like stupid meditators. They didn't study anything, don't study any directly meditate. They don't know what to meditate. Stupid meditator and a sophist, intellectuals. They say
음,
bad to
음,
each other, but both are important, but not too extreme. So we need to balance.
음,
So we have to,
음.
yes, we have to understand what to meditate. And then, yes, you practice, then you gain the realization. After when
음,
you gain the realization, all the subjects which is what is what, automatically it will come. You understand. Yeah, I talked about what do you call I was going to talk about these 20 kinds of emptiness, but I don't think we have
아,
time.
아,
Anyway,
25.
here's the thing. I talked about calming down your mind, calm abiding meditation, shamatha. And now you have too much to think. So it's like, but don't worry. It's like, yes, when you are just doing nothing, calm abiding, you become like an indoor plant.
음,
So, like, now I have a lot of things for you to think. I make you outdoor plant. So, rain or sunshine doesn't matter now. You become more stronger. So you have to think again. So that this thinking is called analytical meditation. You think, analyze, examine, and you all these things. Again, you do the calm abiding. So you're going to be balanced. Anyway, these are all supportive teachings, okay? Background supportive
음,
explanations. To make your understanding of Buddhism as a whole general and especially emptiness and Vipassana to understand correctly.
음.
I'm giving you supportive teachings, okay? Supportive
알았어요.
explanation. Yes, Huang asked, is it an illusion created by the mind? Yes, everything is mind. Everything is created by the mind. But everything is concept. Everything is philosophy. If philosophy, concept, theory, terms, terminologies, everything is created by mind. But the realization of the emptiness is beyond mind. But to understand the
Beyond.
beyond mind, you have to understand the mind first. Without
Yes.
understanding the mind, how mind works, what mind creates, what the magic created by the mind, you need to understand the mind. Then you can go beyond the see the reality. You see first you have to see the magic and the magician. Then you see the behind the magic, it's how the trick is done. And you see beyond the magic. Understand? So you shouldn't ignore the philosophy, terms, technical, what the mind is doing, what the relative is truth is doing. Without relative truth understanding, there's no ultimate truth. Understand? So when you do see the reality, you gain realization. So first, mind, how mind functions, the magic, how magician shows the magic, you have to see it. Understand? So that is why to understand a whole, you have to understand philosophy, practice, and you will have the result. The real emptiness is you see here beyond words, beyond thought, beyond
Yeah.
description. That is called prajna paramita. This is prajna paramita, right?
Also. Yeah.
Or prajna paramita, perfection, wisdom. It is unborn, unceasing, the very essence of space. Yet it can be experienced as the wisdom of our own awareness. This is the real emptiness, real vipassana. So explanation, volumes and volumes of sutras, tantras, commentaries by all these Indian masters, Tibetan masters, all this theory, background, supportive teachings, all meant to realize this nature, real emptiness. Understand? So, but it's so difficult. People have infinite conceptual thoughts that they get distracted, caught up, and misled. That is why they need all these explanations. That is why there's all the four tenet system, different schools developing, because
Also.
ultimately they need to realize this, which is the Prajna Paramita or Buddhahood. I said, right? Prajna Paramita means great mother, mother of all realized beings. So you need to realize this real vipassana, real emptiness, real madhyamika, real perfection wisdom, real vipassana. So in order to, it's not that easy because they are not fortunate to understand. So that is why real emptiness is this one, but a lot of systems, techniques, philosophies, subjects arise because people always have a misunderstanding. That is why the real emptiness or real perfection, real vipassana is this one, okay? Beyond words, beyond thought, beyond description. Yes, although that's the real vipassana is like that, but in order to go beyond word, you have to go through word. First, we have to explain in a word. That's why Buddha taught
Yes.
Buddha's teachings, and then that's why Buddha's all these great masters write a commentary, explain it. So you have to go beyond word. You have to go through word. You go beyond. If you want to go beyond thought, first you have to rely on the thought.
Yeah.
If you want to go beyond description, you have to first have to have this perfect word, thought, and description. That's why we have to first understand and hear the teaching. But teacher has to use correct terms, and then a student has to understand correct terms, understand correct description, correct understanding. Based on that, then you can go beyond that, beyond this kind of principle, like which is beyond words and thought and description. So
Yes.
first
Yeah.
understand correctly through the word and description analysis, then you will get to that point and you realize that the unborn, unceasing nature where you can be in that state beyond word, beyond thought, beyond description, which is
Also. That's right.
called emptiness, which is called of mind. You can be in that beyond word, beyond thought, beyond description mode. And you can be in that, and you can, as well as you can sleep, walk, eat, do everything. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, I know I brought up a lot of stuff, and then you're going to think a lot. So when you think, yeah, you can think,
Mm,
analyze, and you get
mm,
exhausted. When
mm,
you get exhausted, then try you automatically calm down, you relax.
mm.
Then
Yeah,
that's
lesson.
called placement resting meditation. When you
Mm,
analyze analytical meditation, then you exhaust,
mm.
rest in that without any thought. Anyway, don't
Yes,
worry
yes.
if you don't get all these terms and all these things. Don't worry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're going to end here and do the dedication prayers. We'll continue
Mm.
next time. A
Lesson.
lot of things to talk. All right. If you have questions, you can write it down later. I can answer later.
Mm,
Okay. All right. By this merit, through the nature of complete omniscience itself and the total defeat of all the negativity from the turbulent waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death, may all beings be liberated from the ocean of existence. Sonam de ye damje zekba nye tomne nye be danam pamje shin jega na je balon chobai sit be zolun do wa do wa shu.